we're gonna do a savory porridge. Now, I know, don't worry, everyone laughed when they told them they were doing a porridge. It's more of a, I guess it's the name that it seems
Can you
a
guys
little
help us
boring.
rename porridge and give it a fun 2016 spin?
But porridges are going to be another big trend for 2016. Going back to some of those, again, heartier, more sustaining meals. There's a reason why it's a little more probably synonymous with breakfast, just because it,
Fills you
fills
up.
and
Yeah.
gets you going for the day. But there's no reason that you can't have a savory version as a meal as well. So that's what we're going to do here. Lots of flavor. And featuring...
Not everybody wants a sweet breakfast, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is good any time of day.
So we're going to start off really quickly with the aromatic vegetables. So I've got a large pot, a little bit of oil over about medium heat. We're going to add some onion and some carrot.
Has the perfect whisper that Jeremy likes to talk about.
Yeah.
If your pot is screaming at you, the heat is probably up too high. Or if you can't hear it, it's not hot enough for the veggies to go in yet.
Try not to get the ramekins in the pot as well. There we go. Okay. So a little bit of garlic as well. I just leave them whole right in there. Give that a little bit of a stir. And this is, again, a one-pot meal. You can do this in the slow cooker as well. And I'll explain some of the timing differences. But again, really, really easy. Just everything in, everything cooks together. So aromatic vegetables in, garlic's in. I have a little bit of thyme put in there. Let that sweat a little bit, just until it softens, like 5 minutes. And then we're going to go ahead and add our mushrooms. I'm just going to go ahead and add it all now. But the only reason I'm letting the carrots and the onions cook down, because they're a little harder. They take a little longer to break down. But,
are those portobello mushrooms?
No, so these are, I have a couple. I have, these are brown cremini mushrooms or chestnut mushrooms. Again, you'll find them, they're one of the more common ones aside from white mushrooms. They'll be beside each other. And then I have some shiitakes in here as well. But any sort of mushrooms, we just want to get some of that sort of umami.
Umami, thank you.
Umami.
Umami flavor.
I'm going for almost
The
like
mouth watering.
yeah, like a foraging. It is. I couldn't even say it. There was so much saliva. Anyways, almost like a forest feel we're going for here. So there's gonna be a few ingredients. We got some mushrooms. Really nice. Gonna give us some nice flavor.
And mushrooms are great in meatless recipes, so trying to go towards more of a plant-based vegetarian meal. Sometimes if you're serving it to meat eaters who aren't used to vegetarian cuisine, they miss that meaty taste. They want something more hearty. So this is a great option to kind of win them over to the plant-based side.
Yeah.
And you're getting that almost meaty umami flavor from the mushrooms. As well as, we're going to be featuring some barley, which is another great Canadian superfood.
So just season it, a little salt and pepper, good to go. As that softens, we're gonna put some of our dry herbs together. Now this is something you can put ground or you can put it whole and take it out. This is a way that I like to bind it together. That way I don't lose the whole herbs. As you can see, these would not be very digestible. We have
You don't want to chew on that.
some cinnamon stick, some thyme branch, and some bay leaf, right? So one of the best ways, actually, here, I'll grab, oh, you got it. There you go.
I wasn't going to leave you without that.
I just use a little bit of butcher's twine and just bundle them all together. You can put them in a little sachet, a little cheesecloth if you want to. This is pretty easy, just
So Jeremy,
bundle them
if you
together.
couldn't find the thyme branch, or you didn't want to buy that much thyme, because it's sell it in a large quantity, how much dried thyme do you get?
Yeah, you can just even like a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of dry thyme would be okay. I put a little bit of thyme at the beginning as well, just because I like the flavor. So start there, and then you can go as you need. These woodier more winter herbs, I call them, or flavor or aromas. They impart quite a bit of flavor on your dish. So this, in doing it this way, you can actually control it. You taste as you go. When it's too much, you just yank the string right out of there, and everything comes with it.
I like that. With the dried, maybe not so much. You can't really fish out the little bits as you go.
So that goes in. The hanging bit, you can just wrap around there. If you have a gas stove, just make sure we're all on the same page there. All right. So that goes in. Barley, Christy mentioned. This is sort of the key ingredient to our porridge sort of stew. As this slow cooks, it's going to release some starch, it's going to thicken up your liquid, and it's going to absorb quite a bit of liquid as well. So you're not left with like a soup, you're left with almost like a porridge, like a risotto consistency.
Oh,
right?
yum. That's what it is. It's not porridge, it's risotto.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And with barley, I tend to just rinse it a little bit just at the beginning. Just a little bit of cold water, rinse some of that excess starch on the outside. Sometimes even the way it's packaged, it's just good to rinse it off. For our beans, we're obviously using them from dry, so they need a little bit of hydration. They need a soak. You can do it overnight. You know, I remember when I was young, I used to wake up in the morning. My mom would always have a container of soaked beans on the countertop, and I was super excited knowing that the meal was going to contain beans that day. I did not like beans growing up. You can do that overnight. That's one way. Another quicker way, if you don't have the time, is in a pot, bring a pot of water to a boil. As soon as it's boiling, turn the water off, add your beans, cover it, and let it sit for an hour. That is going to mimic about an overnight soak. And then you would drain it, and then it's ready to cook. It's not cooked at that point, but it's ready to cook.
That's awesome.
So you can
we
do
have
it
a
either way.
video on that,
We
right?
do have a video,
Yeah,
yes.
so if you can't remember the instructions and you want to do your quick and ready beans, then check out our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/ELLICSR Kitchen. And Jeremy has a great video about his quick cooking bean method. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I think it is. I also put a few herbs in there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that idea.
There's a couple things. So one thing is flavor. You know, the herbs are going to flavor the stock it's in. Any stage, that's what I'm looking for, to impart as much flavor as possible. So even in the soaking, you can put it in. Some people say too, I don't know if maybe Chris can comment on it as well, is that it helps with some of the gas producing properties of beans. I don't know if it's.
I know the soaking
Still?
helps for sure. The only kind of food that you can combine with beans that I'm aware of that really helps with the gas is seaweed, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. So it doesn't taste like anything. It's just salt, right? So during this phase, definitely some of these options for flavor. And you could get, those nori sheets. You can get like the dried seaweed snacks. Just put a couple of those in there, and it's supposed to help with your digestion. So that could be an
That's
option.
a great tip.
Yeah.
Kombu as well.
Kombu, for
the
sure.
harder seaweed. Yeah.
Sometimes, like with soups, people will put it in and boil it, and then just take it out so that you're getting that better digestion.
So beans are in. Stock is going to go in. So this is just a vegetable stock. Start with about 4 cups. And then you might need to add a little bit more as you go. If the beans and the barley should take about 40-45 minutes or so till they're nice and tender. Try it. If it's not tender, you're just going to add a little bit of more liquid, water, stock, whatever you have, until it's nice and soft.
Could you do this one in the slow cooker?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can do it in the slow cooker. If you are close to the slow cooker and you can keep an eye on it, do it as is with the amount of liquid. If you're going to leave, just always put extra, because barley absorbs quite fast.
It's right. That's why it's soluble fiber, right?
Yeah.
It absorbs everything.
And it'll turn into a block in like no time. So put a little extra liquid if you are going to be slow cooking and gone for like 5-6 hours or something like that. The last thing, again, going with that sort of forced steam, we're adding some fresh cranberries.
Yeah.
This is a little different, but fresh cranberries give you a really nice tartness, a really nice flavor, and they go really, really well with some of the woodier herbs and mushrooms and savory items. So These have been washed. These are Canadian cranberries, and I'm just going to put a nice handful in whole.
And that beautiful red color tells you packed with antioxidants. So cranberries, we don't think of them too often, maybe around the holidays.
I buy frozen ones.
That'll work.
I put them in my smoothies.
That's super. I was just
frozen
gonna
will work.
say that. The frozen ones are wonderful. So you can get them, make sure that they're Canadian, and you can throw them into your recipes. And in smoothies, they work great. So you can combine like some other fruits with the tartness of the cranberries. It's a really nice balance.
So once that starts to simmer, lid on top, reduce heat to low, and just let it go for like 45 minutes, 40 minutes. Keep an eye on it. You'll know it starts simmering when these cranberries start popping. They will pop, so lid on top because it'll start to splatter everywhere.
That rhymed.
And it has, right? It's very
Stew,
stewy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have almost like. Now this has still a little bit more liquid. It'll continue to absorb even as it cools. So I know if I'm going to be serving it, because you're going to be trying it, in a few, 10, 20 minutes, I'll put a little extra liquid, and then as it cools down, it'll continue to absorb. But you're looking for, very like stewy, almost like a risotto kind of.
Now this is winter warming comfort
Yes.
food. Perfect when you come in from the cold.
I like to put a little bit of sharp cheese on top as well. That is optional.
That's right.
That's it. So that's our barley porridge with cranberry. Yeah.